All right, so today we're going to talk about clogged drains. Yeah, I know, but trust me on this one, because it turns out you can find the entire story of a small American town. I'm talking its history, its identity, even how it grew, all hidden deep down inside its pipes. It's pretty wild.
And really, it all boils down to this one simple question. What in the world does a 19th century tradesman, the guy who literally built a town from scratch, have in common with a plumber from the 21st century? The answer is, well, it's way more interesting than you'd expect. And our story begins in a town that, for the life of it, just could not decide what to call itself.
So let's head over to a place called Mundelein, Illinois. It's a northern suburb of Chicago. But here's the thing. Before it was ever Mundelein, it was, a whole bunch of other things.
I mean, this place had a full-on identity crisis. Seriously. First, it was Mechanics Grove, which kind of makes sense, a nod to the tradesmen who settled there. Then, for a bit, it was Holcomb. Then, for just a few months in 1909, it was Rockefeller. And just when you think it can't get any weirder, later that same year it became Area. Just Area.
Yeah, you heard that right. The town was named after a corporate acronym. There was this local entrepreneur, Arthur Sheldon, who had a school for salespeople. His big philosophy, his mantra, was area. So this guy buys up a ton of land and somehow convinces the entire town to name itself after his business slogan. I mean, can you imagine? What a wild piece of local history.
Okay, so while all this name-changing chaos was going on, the town itself was actually growing, physically building up from just a tiny settlement into the suburb it is today.
It all started with a single long cabin way back in 1835, built by a guy named Peter Shaddle. And pretty soon after, all those tradesmen, the mechanics that gave the town its first name, started showing up. They're the ones who built the schools, the churches, the businesses, everything. And that foundation, that idea of skilled labor, is absolutely key to where we're going with this.
But here's the thing about a community, right? It's not just about the buildings you can see above ground. As more and more homes went up, and as more people moved in, this incredibly complex network started spreading out right under their feet. And that hidden network? Well, it brought with it a whole new generation of modern, and let me tell you, very disruptive problems.
And just like that, we've jumped from the 19th century straight into our own backyards. Because all that history, all that growth, it eventually leads to the exact kind of problems that can, absolutely ruin your entire day.
Come on, we've all been there, haven't we? That awful gurgling sound coming from the drain, or the sink that takes an eternity to empty, or, the worst, that sheer panic when the toilet starts overflowing. These aren't just little annoyances. Nope. They're symptoms of a massive, complex system that's under a whole lot of strain. We're talking about old pipes getting choked by tree roots, or just clogs from everyday life piling up.
And this is where it all clicks back into place. Remember that question we started with? The town was literally founded by skilled mechanics who built things from the ground up. Well, today, you've got a new generation of mechanics. They're not building the schools and churches anymore. Nope. They're maintaining the vital, completely unseen infrastructure that lets those buildings even work. They are, of course, our modern plumbers.
And let me tell you, these modern mechanics are not showing up with just a simple wrench and a plunger anymore. Oh no, the tech they're using these days it's just incredibly advanced. It's all designed to find and fix problems with, surgical precision.
Yeah, their toolkit is seriously high-tech. You've got things like hydrojetting, which basically just blasts through years of gunk with super high-pressure water. Then there's power rotting. Think of it like a massive, heavy-duty snake for your main sewer lines. But maybe the coolest and most important tool of all, video inspection. I mean, they're literally sending a tiny high-def camera deep down into your pipes to get a live look at what's going on.
And this whole video inspection thing, it's a total game changer. Think about it. Instead of just guessing where a clog or a break in the pipe might be, the technician can see it plain as day, in real time. It just takes all the guesswork out of it, and that saves you time, it saves your money, and it saves you from having your yard dug up for no reason.
So, okay, the technology is really cool. But knowing about the tech is only half the battle, right? What really makes a difference, what really defines these modern mechanics? Because when your basement is flooding, it's not just about the fancy tools. It's about the skill, the expertise, and frankly, the trustworthiness of the person using them.
So if you're ever in the spot where you need to hire a pro, you got to do a little homework. I mean, making sure they're licensed and insured, that's a given, of course. But you should also think about local experience. Someone who knows the history of the homes in your area, who knows the specific kinds of pipe and soil issues, they're going to spot the problem way faster. And obviously, if it's an emergency, you need to know the response time right up front. That's critical.
And here is a final, super practical piece of advice that can honestly save you a world of hurt. Please, don't just go with the first person you call. Always try to get a few different itemized estimates, check their recent online reviews. Doing that little bit of extra work gives you the power to make a smart, confident decision.
All right, so let's tie this all together. We started with this quirky little town that couldn't pick a name for itself, and we ended up talking about high-tech cameras zipping through sewer lines. So what's the real point of all this?
It's this, that 19th century tradesman and that 21st century plumber. They have everything in common. They are both essential mechanics. One group built the community, the other group maintains it. And what that means is, the next time you have to deal with a simple clog, you're not just dealing with a pipe. You're actually interacting with a system that has grown and changed and aged right along with the town itself. It's a living history, flowing just out of sight, right beneath our feet.